One thing I've constantly had to remind myself over the past couple of years, especially when I feel down or upset about things, is to understand or at least remind myself what is and what isn't in my control. Because I feel like, there'll be so many times when I just be doing fine, everything seems to be going perfectly fine. And some small thing that upsets me a little bit, it'll almost set the tone for the next couple of days where everything starts to almost seem like it's going wrong in a way. I find myself in this always being in this dark gloomy mood. Everything would be okay, like why is this happening that way, why is that happening this way, that small thing, something would happen, and then for the next like literally month my mood is spoiled. And eventually I ask myself if there is anything I can actually do about it, because if there's something I can do about it, then I would do it and I would get it solved. But the thing is, most times, there's nothing I can do about it. Most times we are unhappy over things, especially if you take a look at things that you have been unhappy over a long period of time. Most times it's probably things that are not really in your control. Because if it was in your control, you would fix it. You would at least attempt to fix it, and you wouldn't still be upset over it. Whereas if it isn't in your control, it isn't in your control. There's only one thing you can change then, and that is how you feel about it. Because even though some things may not be in your control, it does make you upset. Some things may not be in your control, can still make you happy. That's life. But you can't let that ruin your mood. You can't let that make you sad, because being sad is not a great feeling. And I feel like that happens to a lot of us. We unnecessarily stress over things that are not in our control. Most times we don't even realize it's not even in our control, because when we realize something is not in our control, it's a lot less likely to have a negative impact on us. But we don't even realize that. We don't even think about it. We let that sink in our head, marinate and marinate and marinate, and it'll slowly but surely spoil our mood to the point where every single thing happening in our life seems like it's going wrong. That's exactly what happened to me in 2022. Actually 2021, something dramatically bad happened in my life, and that just set the tone for the next like year or so of my life. Everything seemed like it could go wrong. I could go and freaking be hungry, picking up a plate, drop it. Now dropping a plate, okay, it's not the best thing. You don't want to drop a freaking plate and break it, but it's not the worst thing that can happen to you. Yet I would almost feel emotionally so upset, so angry just because I dropped the plate. Not because of the fact that, I dropped the plate alone, but because all these emotions combined over the past month or so of me being sad and upset has combined now, and with me dropping this plate and breaking it, has made me upset even more. There is honestly no point in staying upset over things that are not in your control. I mean, this may sound cliche, but you do have a very, very short time to live. I mean, I'm not even lying, since it's 2024 right now, and I can't really process what's been happening since 2020. I can't believe that 4 years is just. I'm sorry, what? But yeah, I mean, just think about it. You're wasting days of your life. Yeah, and I do this too. I'm not perfect. I do this too. But you're wasting time being unhappy over something that you can't even do anything about. It doesn't seem like something you should do. It's like, is it really worth to be sad? Like if you can't even control it. And the day that you start actually viewing things as it is, instead of looking at something and combining it with every single other bad thing that's happened to you over the past few days, months, years, just look at it as it is. For example, this video, let's say, hopefully this doesn't happen, but let's say I record it and then delete it by mistake. I should look at it, okay, it's a 4 or 5 minute video, I've deleted it. Unfortunately, I can record it again. I don't need to be upset over it, right? So if you can view things as it is and stop and just break it down to, is it in your control, and if it isn't in your control, you will have a lot more control over your emotions, and you are a lot likely to be more happy than not happy, because being not happy is not a very great feeling. I think that's one thing we can agree. So if it's in your control, just go and fix it. Otherwise, try to not care about it, because it's not worth it. Not everything is in your control in life, bro. There's something called God, or someone called God up there somewhere. He kind of has a chapter written out for you already, and there's some things you can't change. Just accept it and move on.